Breath.
Welcome to another edition of POS, the podcast where we find the piece of shit and stories you don't care about. With me, as always, is the wonderful Bobby Tamburo. Bobby, how are you?
Living the dream, buddy. How are you?
I am wonderful. Now, before we start the podcast, this is going to come out probably the day after Thanksgiving. So Black Friday. And if you're like, I got to buy a gift, it's starting to be Christmas time, go to silkcityhotsauce.com. Get the sauce, give it to the people. It's got cool artwork. It's got awesome sauce. It's homemade. It's great. People have leftover food. Like, you might want to give it to them for Christmas, but fuck it. Give it to them for Black Friday. Give them right on the weekend. Like, here's some sauce. That turkey grandma made is bland as shit. You're a white person. You don't know what you're doing. Pour some badass jus on that bitch. Pour the Chrissy Mayer sauce. Use all the Bob Levy has something. All the comics have names except for us, of course. But they have all kinds of sauces. Go to the website, silkcityhotsauce.com. Use the promo code POS. Save 15%. It's an awesome gift. Jeff makes incredible ingredients. It's great. And as we say each and every show, and I'm going to always say it for the rest of my life, anyone can buy this sauce unless you're a pedophile. Pedophiles are not allowed to buy the sauce. Pedophiles have Frank's Red Hot. That's for you. If you diddle kids, you can't have flavor. That's the sacrifice you made. Kid asshole is the only flavor you get to have. Now, Jeff has never said that we can't, and he won't sell to them, but I don't think he's going to argue with me. So go to the website, silkcityhotsauce.com, use the promo code POS, unless you're a pedophile, and save 15%. Bobby, introduce our guest.
Oh, can I just say it is the season of giving, but be a little selfish. We got a lot of new pandemic relationships. You're seeing your significant other's family cook for the first time. Maybe they don't cook well. You want to be the hit of the next family gathering? Show up to Christmas with a bottle of Silk City hot sauce.
And probably some moonshine, too. Because if you're listening to this, you're white trash.
No arguments here.
Right?
And it's another episode of the POS show. Last episode, we had a guy who's probably one typo away from bailing out Alex Baldwin from all the trouble he's been in, because somebody will Google Rusk scandal and see that instead of Rust scandal, of course. If I had
we almost got him to Google baby vagina.
Yeah, he was a second away from that, but that was more his fault than ours.
Yeah.
If I had a hammer, Pat, you know what I'd do? I'd hammer in the morning. I'd hammer in the evening. I'd hammer all across the USA. But joining us is a guest who doesn't think anybody should have a hammer, to which I said, oh, snap, Vince. It's Vince Barry.
How's it going, guys? Great to be here.
Look at you using a conversation before the show that no one understands. And now all carpenters are going to be up in arms. Like, why doesn't this man want us to do our jobs? We're in the union. We need hammers.
Yeah,
MC Hammer's pissed.
Chubby white Jesus over here telling you not to use hammers. Yeah, sorry, guys. No, we are white trash. We talked about pro wrestling for 15 minutes before the podcast
That's not
started.
white
And
trash.
not even the good pro wrestling.
Hey, now we were talking about AEW. It was the
Bobby,
best
you're about to anger a lot of people. As much as I will always be a WWE mark because that's just what I was raised on, I have to admit that AEW is right there. They are number 2, but they are right there.
Oh, we want health insurance. We want our wrestlers to not murder our families. Oh.
That's what AEW is.
That's what I'm saying. I want
Tony
the real
Khan takes care
wrestlers.
of them.
All right.
He wants the child murderers, man.
Yeah.
He needs the real wrestlers.
He gets anybody who was injured for 6 years and was told by every doctor not to fight. He's like, here's some money, get out. He's done it with 3 fucking people.
How bad do you want
take
it?
these stem cells.
Yeah, Christian, CM Punk, Saraya, and Bryan Danielson at all points were told never to wrestle again.
And that's just the appetizers. Let's talk about here's a bunch of money. Don't tell anybody I made you blow me to give you a Passover.
That's Vince.
Suck my dick or you're fired.
Tony Khan, nobody would blow Tony Khan. Tony Khan, I don't know what Tony Khan is, Bobby, but he is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I tried for you, Tony, but she just said no.
I mean, listen, I'm sure there's a nerd like that girl. Okay, remember the girl that fucked that the FTX Binance guy? Like,
yes.
That girl would fuck Tony Khan.
But could you, like, if you go to a live show or you watch after the shows when Tony comes out with his voice and the way he gets passionate, hey, everybody, and him getting blown. Yeah, him getting blown, being said, hey, I really like the blowjob, lady. Thank you, lady. Everybody likes blowjobs. Like, you couldn't, there's no way.
You're saying he's a little excitement away from going full downs.
Yeah, but it's like somebody who's like on the spectrum is trying to show you passion. It's crazy because it just
and then he cracks. He reaches a certain point in his voice where he cries. He's like, "Welcome to Dynamite."
Yeah.
You know, like.
But then he also start like, "You guys ready for a fucking show?"
Yeah,
it's like it's crazy.
I do know
that
who he is, believe it or not.
He's like, I have to modulate my pitch like humans.
Yeah.
Vince, you have a great microphone. What are you rocking there, buddy?
This is. I can probably look it up on my Amazon account and tell you, but it's a vacuum tube microphone.
Nice.
And
I could tell it had some good compression in there.
Funny story about it. I was looking through YouTube videos recommending different vacuum tube microphones, and the YouTube video said that Taylor Swift used this microphone to record her first album. And I was like, if it's good enough for that bitch, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is
she's breaking records right the fuck now. One day Ticketmaster will be like Vince Mania.
That's right. They're going to shut down Ticketmaster because nobody's going to want to buy the tickets.
You're saying that mic's the reason for the teardrops on her guitar?
I think so, dude. And it's got like not to shill a product I don't even know the name of, but it's pretty cool. It's got its own like separate power supply that takes 8-pin XLRs in and out, and it's got like 8 different polarities on it on a knob. It's very cool.
It
now,
sounds
if it does
great.
it ever give you any trouble?
Like when
And if
you
it
first
did-
walked in with it, maybe?
Yeah, and if you did, would you have to just shake it off? Like what?
I don't know about you, but
I'm a Swiftie. I'm a wrestling fan and a Swiftie. Don't fuck with me.
There you
That's
go.
me.
Listen,
I'm
don't
feeling
worry, Vince. Someday you'll be living in a big old city, and all Pat's ever going to be is mean.
That's right.
Yeah.
And good night, everybody. That was the podcast.
Yeah, that bitch is from York County, Pat. I'll go to toe-to-toe with you any day on T-Swizzle.
Bobby is as gay as that just was.
Yeah.
The last episode, Russ went into 3 minutes of Kesha, and we had to just let him go. We started dancing to it.
I was afraid if we stopped, he would start shooting. He clearly had other people that he was making do things while he was doing the podcast. I don't think that was under duress.
Yeah, he kept yelling to some kind of servant. Like in the middle, he's like, "Get me the puppet." You know, that was a thing he yelled, and then there was no puppet.
There was no puppet.
Do you think there was another person, or was this maybe just like a,
No, because the guy he brought the gifts. Like, here's the harmonica, here's the toe tambourine.
So like his social worker was there with him.
So yeah, some kind of handler.
I brought up a guy who brought a puppet into public and thought it was the worst thing you could do. Like, he didn't perform. He just had it there. I thought he was going to perform.
Bobby was at a show. A guy was with a puppet. Bobby thought the guy was on the show and then realized the guy was just there with a puppet.
And I'm not going to rant again because I already did about how nuts that is.
That's
But it turns out the only thing
good.
crazier than that is thinking you have a puppet with you, but not having one. Like, what was he doing? He was imagining a puppet. That's nuts. He was a good guy.
Was he
It a
was
fun
he doing
episode.
the thing? Was he doing the hand?
Thankfully, it never made it that far.
Okay.
That would be great if the puppet just laughed at the show. Like, he's watching the show and then he's just stone faced. The puppet's like, ha, 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 and then puppet's heckling you. Dude, that would,
I wouldn't
if
have
puppet
minded
heckled
that,
me,
yeah.
I'd be so happy.
You know, Lil
Man, that's like
Davey shows up on the East Side Dave show from time to time and kind of does that.
Oh yeah, Lil Davey is still around. That's from the satellite radio days, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
man.
Yes, Vince will know all the things you say, Bobby. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
good thing.
absolutely. I was just on. Thanks to Pat, I have to suck his dick a little bit for this. He got
No,
me
you
on
do not. You
WATP.
deserved it. Whatever.
I don't know. I feel
Very
like
nice.
I cross talk too much, and Carl hates me now. But if that's the case, I apologize, Carl. Please have me on your show again.
Don't worry. Only 5 guests will go on your phone. It's like,
That's
you got
right.
6 now.
We're the only ones that aren't worried about getting canceled for roasting a bunch of nobodies.
You know how they say, like, by the way a comedian takes the mic out of the stand, they can tell how long he's been doing it. Like, people will say that to you.
Yeah.
Based on your mic alone, he'll have you back. He's like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He's clearly a professional.
He started a fucking campaign to raise money for me to get better internet to be on the show. He needs you.
I don't do professional opens. That was the best opening I've done in what, Pat, 6 months?
Yes.
It was just
You
because of your
still
mic. I
stumble
was like,
fuck
oh
over
shit.
it.
Oh yeah, because I don't do it often. I don't have practice. But you had that mic. I was like, I better step my shit up.
We could do it here. We'll put one. I'll lay one down for you. We're gonna go. And you're listening to the POS podcast hosted by Pat Oates. A little
Ooh,
sexy,
like butter. That's a
I
good
like
butter.
that.
sexy
yeah.
radio voice.
See, what you don't know is I've got my old Mac booting up over there with some power tools ready to go. And I'm going to do my own post compression on this.
Oh,
I'm just
nice.
going to try to match your pitch.
Oh, fuck off. Don't Viagra your voice. We don't do that here.
Yeah, but Pat, I was on WATP, and right at the end, after I'm doing my plugs, I say thanks, Pat Oates, and the first thing Carl says is, your Wi-Fi is so much better than Pat's. And I was like,
Yeah. That's the running joke, but he's a good dude. It's fun to go on there. And he was cool. Like,
oh, it's a blast.
just you know, and I don't want, I hate that you have to thank me. You don't. It was cool. We were chatting at an open mic and you were bringing up the podcast. I don't know. I think that's the way we should be in life. You're like, I like that show. I'm like, I know the guy who runs the show.
Right.
He likes people that are fans of the show. He hates when he has guests on that don't get the show. So I was like, that makes sense. So fuck it. I just hit up Carl. I messaged you. I'm like, you should be on it. It makes no sense for you not to be on it. You know
I just did a whole episode about how Chad Zumach doesn't understand that. And he thought that somebody waiting to talk to Joe Rogan after an open mic was like some forbidden move or like taboo or like tacky or something. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course you'd wait to talk to Rogan, especially if you were friends with him or kind of knew him and you wanted to get on his podcast. Right. I'd be fucking waiting out by his car too, man. Anyway, you can see that later. Well, subscribe to WATP, everybody.
Unless if it was another episode. That's what I was telling Pat before the episode. My landlord was laughing so hard. Like, it was almost fake laughing at something. So I had to go downstairs and be like, hey, what are you listening to? And it was that episode, unless if they talked about that same topic multiple times. So good for you.
No, if it was the other day, if it was Saturday.
It was a Saturday one, so he probably was listening to it. Yeah,
it's probably you then. Yeah. So congrats, you were killing it.
I've had anxiety for like the past 3 days that I fucking bombed. I don't know. The only person to say I did a good job was Johnny Benson in a message. So I like, okay, I'll take that from Johnny. But like, I'm sitting here in my home, like, fuck, did I bomb on this podcast that 2,000 people were watching live?
So Johnny was like, hey, Vince, you did a good job.
Hang on, I'll go get an honest review. I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
You'll get a 100% genuine review.
Oh, review. Nice. Okay. He's going to go check with his landlord. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. I was going to see how he thought you did.
Imagine you got evicted because of your performance. Like, that guy sucks. You're gone.
You know him? Get the fuck out.
Give me 1 second.
No security deposit.
So what? Obviously, with Velvet Voice, I don't know a ton about you. What do you do with that voice? I know you ring announce, right?
Yeah. So I've been a ring announcer since like 2017-ish.
Just wrestling or all kinds of stuff?
Just wrestling. I've made it, there were a couple times that people want me to do boxing and MMA, and I emailed them and they never followed up. So I've just been like, I worked for Northeast Wrestling, which is a pretty big company around here for like 6-7 years. And then just exploring the indies right now. And, it just kind of enjoying that, the whole indie experience with AEW and all that shit. It's great out there.
Well, since Bobby ran away and I could nerd for 1 second.
Yeah.
How happy were you to be part of NEW and then see AR Fox on the fucking Dynamite show?
I love seeing, because when I went through NEW, it was right before Cody started AEW. So like I got to announce Cody versus Adam Cole. I got to see Keith Lee came through.
Yep.
Yeah. He was going for 30 seconds. So I got to see a lot of these guys come through right before they ended up going on to bigger and better things, whether it was with WWE or with AEW. And it's just like, it's so cool to be like, I worked in some middle school gym in front of 400 people with that guy. And now he's in front of 30,000 people.
Cool. Yeah. Bobby, I would just say Vince does the ring announcing for NEW, which is like a Northeast wrestling. And there was a guy who's like this life. It's almost like a comic, who never made it like on Netflix, whatever, but he's just this killer that from everywhere he performs. You're like, this guy's awesome. This guy, AR Fox, he got to be on Dynamite on AEW in Bridgeport, where he grew up 10 minutes away. And we were both at that show. So it was just dope. And the guy killed it too. Like all I've heard is that they're going to sign him. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Which is dope. I mean, like,
it's very cool. Cause I remember seeing him in 2000. We'll talk about not wrestling now that you're back, but like, I remember I saw him in 2013 at WrestleFest, which is the convention that runs adjacent to WrestleMania. It's not affiliated with WWE at all. It's all indie stuff. And it just like, he was there and he just AR Fox blew me away. And there were a lot of other guys that did at the time who are now signed, but like, he was one of those guys that never made it. And now he's in the big time.
How hard do you have to sell your parents on getting tickets to WrestleFest? They're like, I'm not going to get you, send you there. You're just going to get molested.
So here's the good part about it.
I was molest-a-fest, buddy.
That's it definitely, like if you're, you can't hang around some of those tables now, knowing what we know about those people. But I was working as a ring announcer at the time, and my promoter was running an autograph signing for Bret Hart. So I got in for free as long as I helped him with the autograph signing. So I worked a couple hours taking people's tickets and taking pictures, and Bill Apter came over. I got to take Bill Apter's picture. He was standing with Bret Hart. That's a fun memory.
That's dumb.
I used to have a connection with the Hart family. It was their brother's
and then he fell, huh?
Yeah.
That's Bobby was joking trying to do. He was going to do the whole.
I was getting there, but I couldn't come up with the right term. You beat me to it. I don't have a deep pool of wrestling references. It's basically
the only wrestling connection I have, and I lost the job. I was Chris Benoit's babysitter, and
I was his anger management therapist.
You were Test's drug counselor.
I always wondered if the baby tapped. You know what I mean? Because like. They said he gave him the crippler.
Oh, I'm gonna have somebody fake a phone call so I can leave. Oh my god!
The issue was he no-sold that, so he had to do it again.
Yeah,
he's like, "Sell, goddammit."
Well, that's the thing. Like, do you do this? Do you do the Stone Cold Bret Hart moment where does the baby pass out so he becomes a face later, or does the baby just tap out and save himself for a cage match?
Oh my god! I'm imagining him taking the crossface off and hitting a couple fake stomps, and be like, "Sell, damn it," and then bring it back on.
Like he would constantly he'd try to work the arm over and he'd punch it and he'd finally get the arm
in the baby's defense, he was told he was going to be the championship, but they rang the bell on a 2 count.
Right? They screwed up. Ring the bell, damn it.
I didn't screw Benoit's baby. Benoit's baby screwed himself.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, imagine watching that baby do that diving headbutt. That would be fucking dope. It's like, woo.
What a maneuver.
That's real toothless aggression. You're a baby. You have no teeth. By the way,
we've lost mad. Anybody.
This is so no. That's the funny thing. Most people are wrestling fans would not talk about this. Non-wrestling fans only know that Chris Benoit murdered. They don't even know he was a wrestler.
Right. Yeah. It's like the Ultimate Warrior had a heart attack and Chris Benoit murdered people. That's like all they know.
Yes.
Well, that's the running rumor, right? That this whole thing with Vince and the sexual harassment suits is a work, and that they're going to reveal the journalist who took him out was the lost Benoit son.
He's still got a son out there that looks just like him.
Yeah, exactly.
It was me all along.
That he uses his own line against him.
Yes. All right.
I was the one that told you to feed the dogs.
All right. Well, they are happening again. But
it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, Gorilla. Vince McMahon was in on it the whole time.
It's funny how they don't talk about it. Like, we'll get off wrestling, but I watch, like, I've told Vince is off there, but everyone knows me. I watch WWE Network all the time. I'm watching all stuff. I love Benoit. As a wrestler, he's one of my favorites of all time. He's one of their best ever. They don't talk about him, right? They don't talk about him at all.
Yeah.
To the point where they won't put him in the write-up. And there's a year where he's the champion, and it'll just be like, Shawn Michaels fights a guy. Like they won't say it, but like he's still in the picture on the front. Like they still can't not show him. He's on every poster. He was the face. Like him and
Shawn
Guerrero
Michaels
had one of the best moments ever in a WrestleMania ring, and they're fucking sitting there, but they can't write it up. They go, Eddie Guerrero and others win.
Yeah, it's like Shawn Michaels and Triple H battle in the main event, and it's like, well, there was a
3-minute
match.
Shawn Michaels is playing the heel here, but trust us, the guy he's fighting is the real bad guy.
Much worse. You won't know it now, folks, but in a couple years, you're going to think Chris Benoit's a real asshole.
By the way, they got real right before he won the title, when he was on that drive where he was just destroying everyone. They were really pushing that thing of like, he knows no bounds. He'll go any length. In retrospect, you're like, motherfucker. Like he doesn't care who he beats. He would even fight his own family. Yeah, he would. Like,
yeah, apparently.
No mercy.
Undefeated. 2-0.
Yeah. You think that while woman was tapping out, she's just like, I should have stayed with Kevin Sullivan.
There was a good time where people thought Kevin Sullivan murdered both of them, by the way, or murdered all three of them.
But if he did it, a mummy would have shown up and like humped them both like this.
Yeah, somebody's throwing fireballs. There's a woman with a snake. Yeah,
we've gone way too deep.
We've gone back to 1976. Oh, you went down with a task and came back up. What was the consensus?
Oh yes, thank you.
He said you killed it. Carl should have let you talk a little more.
I'll take it. I was trying not to jump into because everybody else was in one room in Rochester and I was via StreamYard. So I already knew I was on a little bit of a delay. So I was trying to hop in
man.
with. But I
And
appreciate
plus,
tell
if it's
him.
your first
I
time on a
appreciate.
podcast, you want to pick your spots and snipe.
Yeah, I'm trying to feel out the chemistry. I remember how it was on like Opie and Anthony and stuff when they had a full room with a couple comics in it and a couple, there's 3 hosts and then a comic or 2, and like you just had to pick a spot, jump in, and then hope in the next seg you can get another line in. Otherwise, if you don't have anything good, bail out and wait
It's
for
like
the next
playing
one.
a video game. You're saving up your takeover. You got to get a couple, and then they'll give you the ball and be like, "All right,
Right.
you have some fun now."
Yeah,
You're sitting there and you're like, I wish I was also in the Brady Bunch's den. Because is that where they are? Like that room is just like wood, log cabin wood panels. Like
Carl's got the Hawaiian charm in the back.
It's fucking crazy. Now, for the first time in POS history, I read a story on our last episode, and we couldn't get to the point where we found out who the piece of shit was because the guy's phone died right near the end of it, which was, by the way, the perfect way to end that. With what's crazy as Russ was, his phone just dying was perfect. So we never got to it. So for the first time ever, because the story is so amazing, we are going to repeat a story because I think Vince, you'll enjoy it. I think people want to hear our take on it.
So there
Bobby,
Russ
before I do
was at his friend's sleepover.
No, we're not doing that again.
Oh, I thought you said we were repeating a great story.
No. That's how that story started. I was at a sleepover and we're watching, what was it, Creepers, and he's talking about the first time he saw pussy. But then it was like
said,
someone
my friend's
changed the
little
baby.
sister, and I went, "Oh no, 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 no," and then we continued. So I'd like to be on the record as saying I tried, folks.
Yeah.
So Pat,
That's
tell us
all you
about
gotta
this
do.
other
other good story.
No, I pushed. I was like, let him be crazy. He was just starting. So I'm like, no, Bobby, let it go. He's going to be nuts. And he's like, fresh baby pussy. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
I mean, it wasn't as bad as it's sounding. Basically, she had an accident, and the mother changed the diaper in front of him.
Oh, all right. Okay.
No, that's all that happened. All that happened was that a mother changed her child in their home. And this kid
So-
happened to be there.
He just
And then
chose
his
bad
interpretation of it
adjectives.
was, that's the first time I saw pussy. That's,
Yes.
oh boy.
Yeah, you want to talk about therapy. All right, so we will repeat the
No
story.
rapist.
This story, like usually we do stories that happen like trending right now, but this story is from September. But when I found it, it's great. Man with 48-year grudge caught peeing on ex-wife's grave every day by her kids. Whatever happened to letting someone rest in peace? Which, by the way, great pun. I usually get mad at puns. It's good. A man with an apparent 48-year grudge has been going each morning to urinate on the grave of his ex, much to the horror of her furious kids, who realized something was wrong when they discovered bags of poop left at the mother's final resting place.
See, the pee is one thing. Pooping on it's taking it a step too far.
Do you know the son? Because when we get through the story, you guys have the same take. It's like, and then right away, the son, by the way, because we've read this once, people know it, but the son has some of the greatest quotes of anything ever. It just, I felt like getting out and killing him, said Michael Andrew Murphy, 43. So he's not a kid. He's
Right.
43. So he's an adult, told the Post. It's what we like to catch the man, he says, has been desecrating the burial site of his mom, Linda Torello. Torello, 66, died of cancer in 2017 and is buried just over the state line in the cemetery at Tappan Reformed Church in Orangetown, New York. Now, once again, I know I said it last show, but I'm going to say it again. I don't know why they're doing. Do they not understand trolling? Why would they give us the cemetery when we're saying there's poop and pee bags going on? Because then people are going to go there and take dumps, like without a doubt.
For real.
We got her name. We know where it is. People are assholes.
I'd leave a thing of toilet paper just to be nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or like maybe some hand sanitizer.
Yes.
So when people are done, Murphy and his sister first noticed a plastic bag of poop at their mother's grave in April and thought it was something left by mistake by a dog walker. But then it happened again. Oh no, wait, the story went away. There's a good picture of the guy, the man. He's got like a gold chain on. He's just posing by the grave. The siblings called the cops, who took a report. Determined to figure out what was going on, the pair got permission from a cemetery manager to place trail cameras in the trees to see if they could catch the vandal. Yep. Then, when they checked the footage, they spotted the gross grave visitor, a man who was briefly married to Torello in the 70s. The footage was too blurry and grainy to take to authorities, so a week ago, Murphy and his sister got up at 5 a.m. to drive to the cemetery and lay in wait. Murphy set up his smartphone on a nearby headstone to take better photos and hid behind a small shed. Murphy said the video and pictures he and his sister got indicated that the man drove to the cemetery almost every morning between 6:14 and 6:18 with his current wife, and they would both get out of the car, walk to Torello's grave, and pee on it.
Both of them?
I think she stayed in the car. It doesn't say that. But the next sentence says different because the son again killing it. I can't get my wife to go out to dinner, but this guy gets his wife to go along with him to desecrate my mom's remains every morning.
Oh, no respect at all.
I like the guy. He's like, hey, I can't even. He takes a shot at his wife for no reason.
Right in the middle of an article about your dead mom's grave.
I hope his wife is blowing people between 6:14 and 6:18 every fucking morning.
Now, the whole thing, what is the serial pooper? What is his side of the story? Has anybody gotten
We're not done yet. Ready?
Okay.
You're going to get more.
Excellent.
I was shaking while I was hiding. My sister was crying. I was sick. I was so angry.
He was shaking when he was done pissing.
Yes.
No more than 3 times.
Yeah, but yeah, it's jerking off. Hey. Murphy claims he's gone to the cops at least 3 times and they refuse to let him speak to a detective, which is awesome. A woman who answered the phone at the Orangetown police station Saturday referred a call from the Post to the police captain who said she is not available on weekends. I like that. The police captain's like, I take weekends off. I'm with my kids. We're hanging out. Sorry, I can't deal with it. I don't know if the man owns a dog or is shitting in the bag himself or is getting some dog shit, Murphy said. All I know is that he's using my mother's grave as a toilet every morning.
Oh, that shouldn't be funny.
No, but it's so good. It's so good. The man whose name the Post is not revealing, which is hilarious because they've given her name, the grave site, every detail, but they won't give his name, has not been charged. The pissy man left Murphy's mother when she was pregnant and never had anything to do with his biological daughter, the son claims, except for one time earlier this year when he ran into the daughter and said he wished she were dead and cursed her and her mother.
Oh.
He could have been peeing out there for 5 years. We wouldn't have known it. We only found out because of the feces. That is our story. Who
Fuck
is the
you.
piece
I
of
wish
shit?
you were dead like your cock-a-headed mother.
Yeah. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Pee and Poop Man for every day being so mad at an ex that every day he goes to the grave and pisses and poops on it? Is it his wife who supports him? I know it's his second wife.
No, that's pretty rotten.
It's okay, but she also understands who she's dating.
Right.
And
No, that's
understands that if you cross him, he shits on your grave.
Yeah, she's right.
Maybe you take the ride. Yeah, he doesn't sound like a rational man. They might be going together, but I don't think she's volunteering. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a happy relationship. Is it the son for hiding out and waiting and taking videos and then only being mad because there's poop? Be mad the whole time, but not doing anything more than video. You sound like a maniac. Beat the shit out of this guy on the grave. You might as well. Is it the sister who's there, but she's not saying shit? She's just crying in the background, hanging out. Do something. Is it the police? The police are like, fuck it. We don't care. We don't care. You can keep calling. There's worse things going. We got dead bodies over here. We got COVID happening. I can't help you. Poop and pee helps the grass grow. Grow up.
Well,
your mom's dead. So, or is it this article? Because like, I want to get mad at them for the puns and things like that. But this lady is going to cause murder. The person that wrote this article is now beefing it up to the point where this guy is now the son
escalation.
Is beefed up now. Now he's more mad. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Vince, go first.
Whew. Well, that's certainly a lot to take in.
Now, you don't have to use my examples. You can use anybody you want.
Yeah. No, so I think, first of all, that the guy who's doing, obviously the guy thinks he's justified. We've already kind of established that he's probably not mentally with it.
Now, you're saying the guy
that's the pooper. So the pooper, he's not with it. Listen, I think the son's not with it either, because here's the deal. Like, I know when they first like put dirt on top of a grave, maybe you wouldn't notice, but like maybe once the grass grows in and then you notice there's a bunch of fucking like dead spots on the ground, like somebody's pissing up, like,
damn, yo.
Yeah, but
grass can get cancer.
People walk their dogs there all the time. The grass has cancer.
So
you say about
the grass has cancer. Her chemo's leaking out of the coffin into the
Pull
grass.
me closer, grass with cancer.
I think the son's a little bit of a piece of shit for just not noticing sooner. If the guy was really doing it for 5 years, and the son's probably a bigger piece of shit than the pooper, because that guy's dedicated. If he spent 5 years waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock every morning, getting him and his wife ready for the day, going and like shitting and pissing on a grave, going to Denny's afterward, like he's making a whole day out of this. If he's crossing state lines, technically could be committing a felony because he's crossing state lines. That's just dedication. But really the biggest piece of shit, I think you mentioned it. The author's kind of up there because they're giving a lot of info out, and I feel like there is going to be some kind of like people are going to toilet paper or add shit or fake dog poop or real poop or something's going to happen to that grave. So the author's in the piece. But the police, to me, and I'm usually I'm not a I'm a libertarian guy. I see the utility of the police, and I think that not all police are bad. You know what I mean? So I don't think they're all bad. But in this situation, what the fuck, guys? At least send somebody out to file a police report or something. Don't just be like not calling him back because it's even though it's a public park or a space or whatever, it's vandalism of a you spend money to bury somebody. That is your property. That's your plot. You spend money for the tombstone or the gravestone. It's vandalism of your private property. And also, if the person is going to the bathroom like that, they're exposing themselves. That's a crime as well. There's multiple things happening right now where if, like, worst case scenario, this guy's taking a dump on a grave and a person comes by with a stroller and there's a toddler in it. Now the toddler sees the guy's dick hanging out while he's, wrapping a hot coil onto this fucking grave. That's technically then the guy should go on the sex offender registry because he exposed himself to a toddler. I'm saying This is the extreme situation, but what the fuck, police? Just send one guy out. Send Barney Fife out with his one bullet in his pocket to take a police report. At least make people feel good.
But technically, yes, because it has sentimental meaning to the son in that one area, but to anyone else that doesn't know Linda, it's just a place to pee outside. And you can get in trouble, but no one's going to really care. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Now, the son was told that, hey, the chief's not here on weekends. Call on Tuesday, bitch. Why are you waiting for the weekends? You know what I mean? Like, he's around on Tuesdays.
Listen,
I had the same
shit on your grave. Linda, listen, Linda.
I'm just waiting for the escalation. Listen, the next step is going to be the son shitting on the guy's like front porch, and then the guy's going to come out with a shotgun or something. Like we're going to have some sort of escalation to this story because the article didn't help to de-escalate the situation. The author didn't help. The police didn't. Nobody is and even the guy. If the guy just beat the shit out of the other guy, this is done. So nobody's de-escalated. So it's either going to continue or get worse.
Bobby.
So I'm actually going to say, I think the police handled this as they should. A guy comes, he's like, hey, I've got video evidence of my sister's dad shitting on her mom's grave. And they go, nah, that's a family issue. He's like, no, I demand to talk to a detective. And they're like, nah, you can't talk to a detective. And if I heard you correctly the second time, Pat, the police captain told the Post they were unavailable on the weekend, which is just a baller move. Nah, I don't take comments on the weekend and call back on Monday. Like, that's just
true.
Yeah, but for me, there's two real pieces of shit. Actually, I guess you could say three. Obviously, the sister's a big piece of shit. Like, hey, somebody's pooing and pissing on mom's grave. Huh, I wonder if it's my dad who said he wished I was dead the last time I saw him. Like, we didn't do any thinking in there. And then the other two is the son, right? Like you guys said, beat the shit out of him, or at least find out, why is this man pooing on this grave? And the same goes for...
Just to be clear, allegedly pooing on the grave.
Okay.
Right. Poo in a bag. We don't know if it's his poo.
They would have to do some kind of DNA test, I'm sure.
And we can't get a detective.
And it's the journalist. This man is pooing somewhere, or peeing, confirmed, and allegedly pooping somewhere within a 4-minute window every day. I know you guys said mental illness, but that's a level of precision that you don't tend to see with a lot of mental illness.
It might be post-military.
It seems something strategic. There's a reason this man's doing it. He convinced another human being it was a good idea to join him. A symbol of their love is pissing together. Find out why. Get to the bottom of this.
We need...
Remember when journalists were journalists?
Yeah.
I want to hear this dude's side of the story. She probably deserved it. And for all we know, maybe she likes being... Maybe she liked being pooed on. Maybe that was her fetish. She liked being a cuck queen, and those two were fucking
The ultimate Cleveland steamer, and at the afterlife.
And they just miss her, and that's their way of paying. Who knows what's going on here?
Yeah, everybody loves a good post-mortem.
I mean, I
golden
think
shower.
we know what's going on here. Like, I think we do, but like,
I don't think we do.
I really want to know why the guy, because like, I would see like when that person dies, I'm going to piss on their grave. All right, I get it. That's fine. But like once, not like every day. So
to commit,
right,
to really do it.
What if
and
it's
so what? Yeah, what did she do?
What if it's a 51st date scenario where like his wife was like, "All right, this will finally help you get over her. We'll go pee on her grave tomorrow." So he wakes up every day thinking it's the day they have to go piss on the grave. She just has to play along because he has amnesia.
Bobby, if you don't write that for Hallmark, that is quite the show.
Starring Lindsay Lohan.
The first day he went to piss on the grave, he pissed right on the gravestone, and then when he was walking away, he slipped on the liquid and hit his head.
Now he does it every day.
Every day, right?
No.
We're gonna switch genders on this. It's Lindsay Lohan. She's gonna be like, "Why are you lying there? Why do you keep telling me to just piss on your face?" I'm like, "Just green screen it out. We're gonna fix it in post."
It's called Groundhog Day 2, but the 2 is brown, so you know it means poop.
Oh,
it's not a sequel. It's just a Groundhog Day with poop.
right. Lindsay Lohan would take it because this is like the only film offer where she's not the one being pissed on.
Easy. We have Bobby is the biggest Lindsay Lohan.
Oh no, I love Lindsay Lohan.
She killed it in her Netflix movie, by the way.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah.
No, she did not.
If I
did she lose weight? Is she like cleaned up now?
She couldn't even play
Yes.
Linda Torello in this story.
No,
That's how bad of an actress.
she actually kills it in that movie. She looks good. She looks like she doesn't look like she's putting it on either. She like looks like she's accepted her age and kind of is there.
Oh.
My one criticism is
It's almost like she really needed the money because Dubai people don't want to fuck her anymore.
she's married now, so I would hope not, Pat.
She's owned by a prince or something.
Anyway, back to my point. My one
Saudi
criticism
prince.
Yeah.
is that it takes place on a ski resort. So there's a lot of like coats and covering of layers. And, that's not where she shines. Like a beach movie would be.
Well, she's marrying someone who wants to keep her in burqas. You know what I mean? She has to fucking keep.
Exactly.
If she was gonna wrestle in Saudi Arabia, she'd have to wear a Spider-Man costume.
And as
you know what I
her
mean?
fame slowly goes like this American Bad Boys fame's going like this, and that's gonna look
Bobby,
mighty
it's not
appealing.
gonna cross. You're not gonna be able to fuck Lindsay Lohan at some point. It's just
Yeah, well, that's not the
gonna
only thing you told me it wasn't gonna happen, and I did anyway, and it worked out. So,
happen. I say a lot of things aren't gonna happen.
who's the piece of
But-
shit in your story, Pat?
Piece of shit in my story. I will break down who it is not. It is not the son. He is defending his mother. He's upset. He's mad.
Yeah.
He's angry what's happening. It's not the sister. She went to her brother. I like that they have a tight family union. They're like, brother, be with me. I don't know if I can get my brothers or sisters to come with me to a grave and spy. I don't know, especially not in the morning. I'm the only one that gets up early. They like to sleep in.
And to watch somebody shit.
Pat, you already sold her
Allegedly.
dead clothes. We're not gonna go watch somebody shitting on her grave.
Look
Clearly,
at
you
the
don't
deep
care.
cuts. Look at you. It's not the father. It's not the pooper. It's not him. Listen, he's mad. He's upset. He's angry. He's doing what he feels is justified in life. It's not his wife. She's just trying to be a better wife than the one that's in the ground. Maybe the other one wouldn't. Maybe this guy's done this before, but he had to stop because the wife wouldn't go with him, and he doesn't like being alone. But this wife's like, I will be there with you. I will be there the whole time. It's not the police.
I'll
This
be
isn't
there to poo on the
on
grave.
you. I will poop with you. Like the Friends song. It's like, while the pee starts to
Someday.
flow, I'll be poop with you. And it's just Schwimmer. Schwimmer can play everyone in it. Like you can play the Linda, you can play the pooper. It's just all Schwimmers. I would watch that.
I'll
He's a
stop
piece
the
of shit.
world and poop with you.
You, that's fun. And I will always take a poo.
I was waiting to see where you were gonna go with that one. I didn't think it was gonna work out, but you surprised me.
You know what I'm
He
doing?
pulled it out in the end, yeah.
Yeah, he did. The poop. It's also not the people who wrote the article. Listen, that's a hot story. I usually get mad at the post. That's great. That's a good story. There might be follow-ups now. This was from September. I don't know what happened since. It's not the police. They've got more things to deal with. This isn't a real crime. It sucks. It's whatever. The piece of shit in the story is Linda Torello.
Oh,
What the fuck did she do to cause all this? Not only was she she has cancer. She died of cancer. Usually, if someone has cancer, all bets are off.
You forgive them. Yeah.
She's like, fuck you. I don't care. I'm still going to shit on you. And whatever she did as a mother to damage those kids, they feel like they need to keep defending her in the afterlife. Like she always made them feel like they were never there for her. You guys wouldn't be there if he pooped on my grave. You wouldn't be there in the morning if he did that. I wouldn't be shocked if every day she would bother him while they were married and be like, I bet you're going to piss on my grave when I'm born. I bet you'll leave bags of shit. Like maybe their first date, they watched like Happy or Billy Madison and he had poop in a bag and they put it and he laughed too. That's not funny at all. Imagine you walking out there with your boots, Ted, and you have to step in it and you get mad. He's like, it's funny. I bet you'll do that to my grave. He's like, never. I love you. And every day yelled. This woman is such an asshole, even in death. She caused all these people to get together and the police don't care. That's the big thing. Think about it. They don't have his name. They don't want his name. They know her name. They know the grave. She must have been someone they dealt with a long time, or even they are like, good, I'm happy someone's doing it. I was going to do it, but he was already there. Linda Torello is the piece of shit in this story.
Oh my God. Yeah. What if she was like the old lady that always called the police on black picnics and shit and they were just sick of her?
The original Karen is Linda Torello.
I walked through the graveyard with you. The air was cold, but somehow it felt like home.
She was the boy who cried.
And I left my poo on your mother's grave. And you still got it in your drawer even now. I couldn't make it fit all too well. I tried, though, Pat.
You tried.
I tried.
And
you know,
that's all that matters.
I should have quit while I was ahead. Now I'm embarrassed in front of Vince.
Nah, it's all good.
Not as embarrassed as you would be if imagine you tried to pee, but you didn't have to, and you're at the grave and you're like, didn't have any water. That's the hard part. 4 minutes. That means they're caffeinating up their drink. You got to, after a while, no. Not everyone could just pee on the spot. He could go to a grave in public. Sometimes it's cold. 6:14 in the morning, there's dew. Yeah. You know, you don't want to deal with that. And now you're trying to pee, and people can see your dick. So do you have to chub it up a little bit? Or are you going like tiny? You know what I mean? Like,
you ever pissed on pure hatred, son? You think this is easy on me?
Just picturing the Dunkin' Donuts order, like two raisin bagels and 3 espresso shots or something. She just really primed the pumps.
Yeah, how much bran do you guys have? You got any more bran muffins? We're going to need that. You need fiber in this thing. That's the better part, too. I wonder how far they traveled with the poop bag. Was the poop done at the end, or did they do it at home and then travel in the car with a poop? Did they have a cooler to keep the smell in? Like, there's a lot you have to think about with the poop travel. There's a lot. The commitment they made is amazing.
It really is. It's like owning a dog almost. You're walking it every morning. It's taking
he was more dedicated to being a shitty ex-husband than he was to being a husband. Or you know what I mean? Like, it's incredible. I mean, he's not dad of the year. You don't know that. That wasn't nice.
Maybe she like fucked a comedic magician.
Maybe she fucked a comedic. Bobby, is that what you're gonna do?
No.
To the comedic magician once he dies. By the way, Vince, you know, a comedic magician stole Bobby's girlfriend.
Oh, dude, you didn't kill yourself.
Closure recently.
Not yet. It's close.
Oh, you got closure recently?
Yeah.
Not really.
Kinda. It's still kind of going on.
You did.
It's still kind of going on.
I think that you should still every day perform shitty magic tricks on that guy's grave when he dies.
There you go. Hey, when she left, did they both walk into a big box and disappear?
Yeah. I heard she has a big box.
I don't know about that. No.
You would know. I don't know.
They were pulling rabbits out of a pussy. Oh,
we did. Who was on? We did like it was Mark Random. We did like 20 magician like pulling condoms out of her hand. Like, it was like so many fucking random puns. It was not random puns. It was random puns. So yeah, the piece of shit's Linda Torello. But I usually people yell at me, go, "That's not a news story." Fuck you. That's the greatest story I've ever read. I don't care if it happened in September. I want follow up.
I know.
I bet you we can get the Sun on here.
I bet we could get all of them on here if we tried.
Not Linda. Well, yeah. Dude, if we got them all together and reunited them, that would be awesome.
All right. No. We've got to settle this once and for all.
Get Brandon on. He can speak to the dead, right?
Right. Yeah. We get them all on and we have a seance to bring back Linda so her and the pooping guy can hash it out one more time.
Oh, imagine that, and she's a bitch.
We should,
Yo, for real.
What the fuck? This is when I watch Maury. It's like, are you kidding me? You're dead. Like, you're ruining my show. It's like, oh, I'm happy.
we should do the seance at the mall. All kids, no parents.
That is white people shit, though.
Yeah.
I don't have to show you guys pictures. You guys, no one thought, are they Puerto Rican? Like,
It was.
Oh no, not at
Cabello
all. I
is
definitely was
very
picturing white
Italian
people the
name.
whole time.
yeah, there's nothing. Everybody white as shit. No other race is doing that.
No.
Because they all are more respectful of the dead.
And you know they're white because they actually put the shit in the bag.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of bag.
Plastic.
You
See, I
think it
thought
was
paper, but maybe Ziploc.
No,
Yeah.
plastic. It's like one
Ziploc
of
and
those
it would come up.
grocery-
But if you overfilled it and you were trying to zip a Ziploc bag and you squeezed and it fucking pushed out
Yeah.
the top.
Would be awesome if it was in like a bag from a grocery store and they left their receipt in there. They're like names on the receipt.
That's how they found them.
Yeah.
They probably have a bucket, and then they just scoop a little bit out each day.
Oh, you think that they have like a whole they pregame?
Yeah, right.
No, I was thinking they might just take a Stop and Shop bag and kind of hold it over their ass like a horse eats out of one of those things they put out the feed
No,
bag.
I was thinking that too. But what if you're constipated one day? You've got a 4-minute window to get there, drug the. You know what I mean?
What if they have a poop guy? You know, you can get like a guy you buy pee from. You need drug tests. What if they have a poop guy? The guy's just really good at poop.
I feel like it has to be more personal. It
Doesn't
doesn't
more
feel
personal
good.
than pooping in a bag.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure.
Yeah,
it out.
really, it does. It's a funnier picture if every time the guy had to go shit, he like ran into the garage and shit in the bucket and then put the lid back on. And it was just like on the outside on a Sharpie was like Linda's shit bucket.
What if it's the new wife's poop?
Ooh, kinky.
That's how that's like how they bond.
What if it's Linda's poop? Okay,
He has
hear me out.
actually.
That's why he hates her. They divorced. The ruling was she would have the house until he died, or until she died. She dies. He finds out she's filled the walls with her poo, and so now he's just taking the poo one bagful at a time.
Yeah, he's just giving it back. Maybe before she died, she said, "Give me back my shit," and now he's doing it.
He's doing it literally.
There we
You
go.
got my shit. Now, what'd be crazy is with all that manure, so fertilizer on there. What if she came back from the dead and
He grew her back.
Yeah, he grew her back, and now he had zombie lympho, which is like he did not.
Nah,
expect
that's not how
to
science works.
Looks like Stephen King and Creep Show.
Wait
just
a minute,
covered in
Bobby.
moss.
That's not.
That's not how
works.
science
Nah,
works.
That's not how it works.
God
buddy.
damn it!
Yeah, actually, I think it wasn't Linda's shits because they would be like watery chemotherapy dumps, wouldn't they be? Like, so
Well,
these are
it
more
might be
substantial.
early on.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, they looked. The poop didn't have any hair on it.
Maybe she had colon cancer and they're just big red poops with a bunch of blood
Yeah,
in them.
that would be awesome.
I hope somebody's eating lunch while listening to this podcast.
They
Yeah,
know
no one of
better
our
than
listeners
that.
can afford lunch. It's fine.
We
Put
did
some
talk
hot sauce
about,
on it.
You talked about the random episode. You want the follow up, Pat?
Yes,
You do?
I do want the follow up.
Even though I shared a little bit of on the Davy Max Sports program.
I'm not worried about it. I think that's not a cross pollination.
I didn't think so. All right, cool. So where we left off was basically just to catch you up, Vince, and any
Mm-hmm.
listeners who skipped the random episode for obvious reasons.
I think it was just on Patreon. I never put it out because he said some crazy shit at the end.
But it's the time of year. It's like pretty much last weekend was the anniversary of the big fire, and I have a joke I tell about it. The fire is what
The big
Kinda.
fire has to do with the magician and the girlfriend, all that stuff.
It's what-
It's a
Okay.
whole legend and lore.
it's what
All right.
sparked the whole thing. And
Get
so
it? Spark, fire.
So I sent a text like I always do, like, hey, glad to see you're doing well. It's fun to see, like, how you're doing despite all of that, keep on keeping on. Wasn't expecting a response. I don't usually get one. Went, did a show the night of the anniversary, told the joke. It killed. I'm feeling like a god. Like, hey, that's how you make lemons out of lemonade, right, world? Woo! And then I got a text back that, like, knocked the wind out of me where it was basically like, hey, good to hear from you. It's nice to know you think of me, even if it's only every November. And I had to tell Pat that because it was like, well, then why have you been ruining my podcast for a year and a half, Bobby? You
Every
want-
episode, no matter what, in the middle, he's just like comedic magicians. He just starts yelling. I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
So we weren't going to respond. We felt like it was a trap, and by
yeah.
we, I mean me and the council of people I talked to about this.
Oh yeah, she was
It's
definitely
a bait.
baiting you.
Yeah, right? Like, so that way I could be like, no, I can't. And she could stomp on my heart again. But are either of you guys chess players?
No.
And I have to thank
Not
Mike
in
O'Donnell
years.
for helping me with this metaphor. But there's a move called a gambit. And a gambit basically is
I watched the Queen's Gambit. That was a
there
good
you
show on Netflix.
So the Queen's Gambit is you sacrifice a piece to win a positional advantage. And the move I play is called the fried liver, and you sacrifice a knight and you get a huge positional advantage, but it very rarely works out. Like, you have to win quickly, otherwise the team's up a bunch of points and they come back and win. The knight took the pawn, though. Like, I can't help not play that opening. I can't not sacrifice that. That's what this was. So I did respond to the text, and I'll just read it to you
This
real
is
quick.
real. This is live. This is happening right now. Oh no.
Yep.
So I said, I'm doing well. Ups and downs as is life. She asked how I was doing and all that. And I said, I honestly debated all week if/how I should respond to you. You can't honestly think you cross my mind only every November. The truth of the matter is you cross my mind way more than is healthy. And I honestly wish that was an overly romantic line and not an objectively obvious diagnosis. You aren't just in my head rent-free. I think you have equity at this point. It's not the worst, though. I've lost myself and my moral compass several times and used you to find my way back. I'd reach out more, but it seems like it doesn't bring you happiness. So I hope you're doing well and that you've truly grown to not only know who you are, but love yourself like it seems. And if we left it there, that probably would have been okay.
Yeah, I know you. There's no leaving it there. Now it'll go from sweetheart to asshole in 2.5.
Oh, no. I said, so you know, I'm sorry. And I'm trying my best when my emotions overcome my logic and I reach out. And just remember, you have a silent fan out there when I don't.
No response, right?
Oh, I got a response and a half, buddy. And, so we've been kind of texting back and forth.
Oh, a good response. I thought it was like restraining order.
It could have been.
Yeah. That's you took a chance, but that was nuts.
Yeah, no, because you had me in the first half there where I was like, oh man, this guy's a fucking cuck. He's just laying it all out there and not punching back. But then right at the end there, you checked her, which is, you got to do that. Like, especially when somebody's intentionally trying to set you up to just be like, no, I think about you more than just November. So they can go, yeah, well, I don't think about you at all, fuck face. And then you got to check somebody when they do that. So you did the right thing at the end. I really thought you were just rolling over in the first
thanks.
3 quarters of that. So good pull up. Like, you pulled the stick up on that fucking.
How much were you crying when you texted that?
I wasn't. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have been emotional. Like, motherfucker, what am I doing?
I was emotional in the week leading up, and I'll give you the backstory. She always kind of had us on a 3-year time frame. Like, I want to be married within 3 years, and it was the 3-year anniversary with the new guy, and I was like, oh fuck, it's coming. And so I was kind of down all weekend, and I binge watched Cobra Kai and strike first, strike fast, strike hard. And then I was like, well, I got to play some defense. And you know what Johnny says? He says the best defense is a good offense. And I was like, well, let me just ruin her day, even if she did get proposed to.
Did she?
What? Not that I know of yet. I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. This is the long con. It's a long
I thought
game.
maybe after he said no, and then this was her reaching out because they're breaking up. Maybe.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was thinking the exact same thing, because she was reaching out to you because she didn't get proposed to on that 3-year anniversary. So she was feeling some type of way about that guy. If you listen, dude, if you're really into it, like, if I don't know if this is healthy or not, I know nothing about your relationship.
I'll just clear it up. And
if
say
you
it's
make it
not.
past,
You hear that text that worked?
Yes.
It's not healthy.
but if you make it past December 25th, you make it past New Year's, and you make it past Valentine's Day, and then depending on when her birthday is, if it's in the first quarter of the year, and none of them, if she doesn't get hit on any of those,
I think show up February 15th and start blasting. He wears short skirts.
Yeah.
I wear t-shirts.
So you
captain.
You remember what was it? High Fidelity? Was that the one with John Cusack?
Yeah.
Or is it, yeah.
Boomboxer. Yeah, Boombox is a Bobby classic. That is a third date move for me.
Right. February 15th, you pull up in your car, you have the boombox, you've got the trench coat, but you're wearing nothing else on. You're just hanging brains. So she remembers what you had down there. And then, then you can have your Taylor Swift on the boombox.
Ooh, that's good.
You just have to have your dong hanging.
Now, my question is, what matters with all this is what was happening when she was responding with. You won't know this, but she was either responding on her own away from the magician, or consulting the magician and writing something as a group. How she messaged you is all that matters. Because if she did it on her own away, she knows that it would be bothersome, and then she has some sort of feelings. But if she was like, hey, Bobby messaged me, and she's like, oh, hon, it's okay. Hey, can I run it by you first? And then like they workshopped it, then you're fine. Because I've been there. I've been the guy with a girl's like dealing with an ex saying something, and she's dating me, and she's like, hey, what should I say to this person? And I'm helping them because I feel bad for the guy because we're all been in that situation in life, I guess. So I'm helping out, but I'm thinking like, oh, I'd be so mad if I thought those were her words, but they were mine.
Right.
Because I'm a better writer than them. So it's like there's gonna be good punchlines. There's gonna be a segue. The premise is strong. It's great.
Well, thank you, because for a second I was worried I was going to lose my edge without that like twinge need for suicide in the back of my mind, and you fully put that. If that goes on, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, you have to remember that she is not on her own. If she's in a real relationship for 3 years, you're consulting with. It's a good relationship. Listen, they might be as close as that guy and that woman when they go pee on a grave. Like if you have that kind of tightness.
It's a callback, folks.
What I do, Bobby, would you, when you were dating her, would you have taken the ride with her to go pee on a grave?
Yeah.
Dude's ride or die.
Would the comedic magician?
The issue is, I don't know. I don't fucking know. The issue is,
I'm saying yes.
I don't think so. He's a fucking pussy. He doesn't do cool things.
He just had a little flower squirting water.
I didn't say he would poop, but he would drive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he does cool things. Doesn't seem like
I don't know if that's cool.
Like peeing on graves. The issue with our relationship is it would have been her implying, I'd like it if you peed on the grave. So I'd take the initiative, be like, hey, yeah, I peed on that bitch's grave for you. And she'd be like, no, I didn't want you to. And then it would be like, that was kind of our dynamic.
What is the follow-up been? Has it been like letting you down easy? Like, hey, champ, it's all right. We can still be friends. Or is it like, yeah, like she seems like she's trying to sidle her way up next to you to start something again?
No, definitely not the second.
Okay.
Not quite the first, like letting you down, champ. It's like it was just clear, like I'm not gonna take it if you yell at me about what I did after the whole incident. And I was like, I'm not here to do that. I blame myself more than anybody in that situation.
So, are you frequently chatting back and forth?
I've been
daily.
I've been doing like maybe once every other day, and texting at like odd hours, so she can't.
Are you always the initiator?
It's been back like text response. Like,
do you ever get a good morning?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Is there ever
the key?
Is there ever a double up where where you sent her something, she responded to you, but then like a couple hours later or the next day, she is the first one to send a text, or is it always you doing it?
No, I mean, like literally, it's kind of, you guys are thinking of it like a text conversation. Think of it more like a legal briefing. I send over my thoughts, she collects hers, responds.
Right, but in a legal briefing too, you could get like, here's the response, and then the other party does not address, so you have to go,
there hasn't
hey,
been
listen,
a double up.
Following up on here, yeah.
And we're talking like not like, hey, how are you? Like we're talking a paragraph a day, and then like 2 days go by, couple paragraph response. So it's not looking good, but it's also not looking like an abject failure.
Well, what's the goal?
Yeah. That depends.
I think
if the goal is hopefully to have you in a friendship and it's coming off like this, I think you're going to get hurt. If the goal is just to have closure, then I think you're doing the right thing. But if it's not already like, hey, how's your day? And you're just bullshitting as people used to date and now can be friends. If you're not already doing that, dude, you're going to get hurt. Get out of this. I'll go pee on her grave right now.
Yeah, we'll go. Let's go pee on her grave. Dude.
Let's go. Let's just do it anyway.
You guys,
where's Linda?
I just drank a whole Arizona. Let's do this.
You ever hear like depressed or like emo girls now being like, you guys are all living your lives. I didn't have a plan to be here past 25. It's like, I didn't plan to make it through the Hail Mary. All right, now we're in overtime, and I'm just kind of playing football. I don't know what's coming next. We'll see what happens, but
I would just take a knee and prepare for the next game.
Yeah, I don't know what's good. Like, I really don't know, because I feel like if you're...
What if it's your senior year? It's the last game of the season.
So, Bobby, how are you going to do? Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
What do you think I'm going to do?
Chris
Benoit. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Come on, give us the breakdown. Why are we doing this?
Who is the piece of shit in this story?
I would need to know why.
He's gonna give us some shit.
Okay. I would need to know why the magician stole your girl, or why she left you for a magician, because that's pretty rough.
Because he did this.
He hypnotized her. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Is it me for ruining a happy relation, or reaching out to someone who's in a happy relationship, knowing that there are probably still feelings there, on my end at least? Is it the comedic magician for using tricks such as turning the words "I love you" into "forever" until "I love you" into "next week" and things like that, and making, lifelong commitments disappear? Is it her for responding and leading me on? Is it me for back in the day not showing her enough time and attention and dedicating myself too much to comedy? Pat, we'll kick it to you first because you kind of got some more context. Maybe some more will come out to help Vince along the way.
Yeah.
Okay. The piece of shit isn't you for reaching out. This is something that's been eating at you for a long time. It's Bobby's not someone who believes in therapy. I do. I think therapy is great, but I also have said many times that therapy is only good for you if you're ready to do it. So no one can make you go do it. And
I've said things, Vince, like if I wanted to, I'd spend the 60 days at a community college so I could just be a therapist for myself.
Yeah, and that's not how this works.
Just a joke, Vince. Just a joke.
Right? No, I was trying to wrap my mind around that one at first. Like,
he's shitting on therapy because
it only takes 60 days to get the
Bobby doesn't understand that Bobby is doing the same thing that everyone does at therapy by literally talking about it here on the podcast. You're talking to someone.
Yeah, this is literally. I was going to say this is literally turned in from a podcast.
That's all it really is. The only
Bobby.
difference is that I now know you and have a vested interest. Vince doesn't. So you just spoke. Therapy's just being able to share your thoughts to someone who has no vested interest in you, and that's what you're doing. But that being said, I know that in my life I need closure, unless the closure will be so toxic and damning that it would be worse for me. But even that would kind of eat at me. I don't believe you were messaging her with the thought of getting back together. I don't think if that reality happened, if she turned and said, "Hey, can we hang out?" I think the other thoughts and everything she did would cripple you so much that you could not go through that. I don't think you'd be able to put that aside. Even if you wanted to, you've been through too much with this, with her, with the other person, and the shit you've gone through. That's just me saying that. So, but I understand why you messaged her. I also understand why she responded. Because I do believe, and I don't only know what you said, that she is in a happy place. The fact that she is in a happy place in a solid relationship where she feels good and solid, she feels like the best way to have closure herself is to be able to just discuss with people from her past like she discussed with everybody else. If she wasn't in a happy place, you would have gotten more emotion, either in anger or in happiness, but there'd be something more than the legality thing there. The piece of shit in the story is always our favorite, the comedic magician. The comedic magician should, and I know you're going to say you don't want this, and I know you're going to say this would be awful. He should reach out to you. He should message you. If he knows this is happening, if he knows that you guys are having a conversation, he should say, all he should say is, "I hope all is well." And I know it would piss you off, but it would let you, not anything crazy, not like, "Why are you messaging my girl?" Anything like that. "Hey, Bobby, I hope all's well." Just letting you know, hey, that tells you right away, I know that you've been talking with her. I am cool with it. I hope everything's okay. We're supportive of you. The fact that he hasn't said shit is the reason why he never made it in comedy. And that's why he had to turn to magic, because he's not funny enough to be a good performer. So he had to do both. No one is good at both. You're doing two things that need commitment. He doesn't have commitment. He's a fucking loser. Being a comedic magician is shitty in every level. And that's why he doesn't have the fucking balls to reach out and go, "Hey, man, I understand what you're going through. I never mean to hurt you myself. Me and her are here for you. It would suck for you, but that's what a man would do. But he's not a man. He does magic sometimes."
Pat, I know you're not a Roman history enthusiast. Are you, Vince, by any chance?
I mean, I'm Italian, so maybe I just have some kind of, genetic predisposition to understand your thing here.
So there was an emperor named Julian, years after Julius.
Gay.
And he basically, his whole family was killed.
His name is gay.
Oh, definitely. The whole family was killed because he was supposed to be, like, they were the next in line for the empressy. And whoever was in charge was like, he's too young. Just lock him up in some school. Well, they locked him up in a military library, and he just read a bunch of military shit about Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. And then this guy who was in charge put him in battle, and was like, all right, I'm setting you up to die. And he just used these strategies that hadn't been used in hundreds of years to win these battles and became emperor. And how did he die? Doing the same thing Alexander the Great did, trying to take Persia. He kept going that way, and he died in battle just like Alexander the Great. And I hope he responds that way, Pat. And I hope he makes the same mistake I did, where he's like, that's not a threat.
And I hope life treats you kind. And I hope that you find all you dream of. And I wish you joy and happiness.
Let me back in a little bit. Give me an inch. That's all I
Above
need.
all things, I wish you love.
It's the same thing I'd say about comedy. Give me an inch of momentum. That's all I need.
Did Bobby just threaten to kill the comedy magician?
Yes, that's why I did Whitney Houston over it.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. That's what I got. Yeah.
I'm saying that's the same thing that happened to this Julian is he made the same mistake as the guy he took the spot from. What happened to me is
A2 magician.
All right, cool. Yeah, just leave it at a threat. Don't let me clarify. That's cool.
We get it. You're gonna beat the shit out of the guy in Persia.
No. I'm saying I fucked up.
You're gonna kick him down a well. This is Sparta.
That's the Greeks. Yeah. If we're gonna make history jokes, they got to be a historic.
Oh, I thought it was like Baby Jessica.
Version, didn't they?
Either way, you're going in the well.
But no, what I'm saying is that's what I fucked up. I let him hang out and was just kind of like, hey, I'm here, buddy, and he's not a threat, and it was.
Oh, was he your dude? Was he like your bro? Was your friend?
No, I never met him. It's a long story.
All right, never mind.
Well, they were friends, but he was cool with them hanging.
Oh, all right. First of all, that's your first mistake. But anyway,
go on, Vince. Who's the piece of shit in this story?
No, I think. Listen, first of all, I don't know. I've only described this once on some other show that I'm sure nobody's listened to. So my rankings of magic, comedy, all that stuff. It starts with mime at the very bottom, and then next is improv comic, and then is comedy magician, then's prop comic, then is actual stand-up comedian, and then is comedic actor in films. So like he's way down on the fucking totem pole. Before you even told me, hold on, Pat, this is not Paul Kilmer, right?
No.
All right. I love Paul Kilmer. He's a comedy magician. He's autistic, so he makes it work.
Yeah, I was like, if Paul Kilmer steals your girl.
Yeah, you should definitely kill yourself.
Paul Kilmer's Mr. Steal Your Girl. Dude, Paul Kilmer would have messaged you because you would have written that letter. He would have gone, hi, how are you, Bobby?
It's Paul.
That's what
he just would comment on everything.
I know you don't know Bobby, but he's such a good dude. He's like he's autistic or whatever. He's on the spectrum. So if you comment on his Facebook post, but Paul will be like, I had sandwiches today. And you like it. And you go, what kind of sandwich you have? And he goes, hello, Pat, this is Paul. How are you? And you have to have like a real conversation underneath to get to the sandwich. It's just how he is.
That's awesome.
So no, it's not Paul Kilmer.
All right, good. Yeah, no, comedy magician's a piece of shit. I think he already should have been reached out to you 3 years ago when this shit first happened to just kind of squash any potential whatevers and let everybody move on.
Especially knowing that paths could cross because you're a comic.
You're in comedy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you don't also want that to affect bookings and all this other shit, because then somebody could be like, oh, well, I like, Charlie, the dancing magician comedian, and I'm not going to book Bobby because of that or whatever. You know what so like, there's a lot of things that should have been kind of nipped in the bud here. I think Pat's right. If you engage in these kind of conversations this way, you are going to try and sway the conversation to not necessarily be more romantic, but to try and be more familiar and be more friendly in the way you were, rather than being so clinical. And there's a potential where, like he says, if she's really happy, she's going to sniff that out immediately and shut it down. And you're going to feel like a piece of shit. There's a very, very slim, like the $1 million slice on the Wheel of Fortune chance that she is in a little bit of relationship trouble and is maybe kind of doubling back to you because you're familiar. She knows she can kind of send you kind of, neutral text messages, and you may take it a little more personally or a little more, romantically than she intends to, not necessarily to lead you on, but just, she knows she can have this conversation and get some attention in the spot where she might be having relationship trouble. So what I'm saying is, one way or another, this bitch is going to manipulate you, and she's either going to break your heart now, or here's the shitty thing. As somebody who's gone through this, you break up a couple years, whatever, you try and get back together. There's another, like, it very rarely works out where you break up for an extended period of time, you date other people, and then you get back together and you stay together forever or whatever. So what I'm saying,
the only time you do that is when you both have decided in your hearts to settle because you just don't like anything else out there. No, but that I know people.
I know
they do it because they say, I don't want to be alone, and that's not what you want.
Right.
So
yeah, but here's the other thing. I'm also one that errs on the side of being an asshole at the end of a relationship, where I am like, okay, well, if regardless of who broke up with who, this was fun, whatever, I don't want to talk to you anymore. whatever places we went, I'm going to try and not go there if you're there. And if you're not there, maybe I'll try and go there, or maybe I've just written that place off entirely. Like, I'll just block people. I'll remove them from Facebook. I remove them from my life. And sure, maybe you miss them and maybe you think you're going to shoot a text once in a while, but it's like, I'd rather have that and have that nostalgic feeling of missing somebody than to text them and confirm that, yes, they're still an asshole after all these years. I'd rather have the nice memories.
Bobby, can I ask a real question?
Sure, I may not answer it.
No, that's fine. Not personal in that way. It's just where your mindset is. Let's say, okay, hypothetically, that you just continue the way you're going with this and you're chatting. So it becomes friendly. Like once in a while, hey, how was your day? Or what'd you do this weekend? Shit like that. Just normal friendship stuff. What if she spoke to you like a friend and talked to you about her relationship? Because you're friends. Could you handle that? Because that is going to be now, and vice versa. If like you were seeing someone and you're like, hey, because who knows each other better in relationship things than two people that used to date? If there are people that still have those friendships where you could be like, hey, she's acting like this and that, we were going out, but like, I'm not sure. And she could be like, well, Bobby, you know how you are with this stuff, because she would know that thing. As if you were true friends, you could do that. Could you handle her be like, hey, me and David Blaine Jr., we went over and did this thing, whatever, and we were holding hands, whatever, but it felt weird. And you're like, would you be like, oh, holding hands, or would you be okay with the conversation?
So I think based on like her knowledge of me when we were in a relationship, that wouldn't be an issue. That said, if it came to that, could I handle it? Yes, because it's gathering intel on the enemy.
See, then that's not healthy.
No, dude, like that's, yeah.
The first mistake you guys made was letting bitches know what you're thinking. They actually know you? That's the first thing she said to me. I don't know what's going on in your head. Bitch, me neither.
Yeah, but you should have left it that way. The first 3 quarters of that text message were irrelevant because you basically admitted she's living rent free in your head and owns equity because you were trying to punch it up because you're a comedian.
And in this market, that's tough.
Yeah, like you kind of gave up the goat there in the beginning of it. It really just should have been like, I don't know. Maybe you could have cut a little bit out of it because it was nice and then it became a little too nice. And then you pulled it back. Like I said, I'm giving you credit. You pulled it back at the end, but some of the stuff was just a little bit too much. Now she knows she's in your head. So she can use that, whether she wants to get attention from you in a positive way and continue, doing whatever you're doing and talking, or she can take it in a negative way and go, hey, I'm still with, David Blaine. Fuck your face, you creep. You know what I mean? So she could take this either way. Now, all she knows now, she lives in your head rent free. She sees that. She knows that whatever response she wants to get from you, she can get.
Did you guys ever have a relationship where you were just friends with no thought of either one wanting to date or attraction in any way? Was there ever a time where that was the case?
If you rephrase the question, have you ever used that guise before? The answer would be yes.
No, that's not rephrasing. That is changing the question into a creep move.
No.
You guys can't be friends.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
That's not the play here.
No, but that's Bobby. You're not law firms. There's no reason for you two to be contacting each other. You did it. Never do it again.
Okay. And I'm sorry we have to go here, Pat. I'm going to apologize in advance because this is 2 for 2 episodes with Harry Chapin. Kevin, or Vince, are you a Harry Chapin fan?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
So you know the song Taxi?
Yes.
So we've had the taxi moment, right? Now it's
operator.
I'm waiting.
I get why she left.
This call.
That's Jim Croce.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
whatever.
It's
the same song.
LA
yeah, no, it's the same. Yeah, no, she. I'm flying when I'm stoned. I'm driving my taxi. Yeah,
But then he finds her years later, and he takes the taxi, and she's not.
She pities him, and she gives him a fucking tip, and is like, "Here's your pittance for being
taxi.
my." Yeah.
But then there's another song called Sequel, where he gets to San Francisco as a famous singer now, and he goes to her rich house to find her, and she doesn't live there anymore. She's a waitress working in a small 1-bedroom apartment, but she loves
living
herself.
with a magician.
And they hook up again. No, she's single, and they hook up. But that's the moment I'm waiting for. Like the down the road, like, we were young and dumb. It's not even like a relationship. Just that one passing moment. Like, hey, good to have you back in the life.
You couldn't handle that. You couldn't handle one hookup. You'd want to be together.
This is like that Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston movie, The Breakup, where they see each other right at the end, and it's been like 5 years in the future, and they just meet. They like cross paths in like New York City, and it's an awkward conversation. They're like, "Oh, hey, how are? All right, bye." It's like, you want that? I don't want that. I don't want that from anybody.
And for the first time in the history of conversation, someone used a Vince Vaughn movie as an analogy.
That's probably a good sign.
Swingers,
we should change
maybe you're
subjects.
just money. You're so money you don't know it. I know. I know my.
That's
Vince
a
Vaughn.
quote, but you wouldn't use it as an analogy.
No, it's true.
It's
It's fucking true.
I'll finish by saying who I think the piece of shit is.
That's what I was hoping you would do.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's kind of me.
Oh.
You know, like I kind of did swallow my pride and
Put your part in a blender.
put my heart. Yeah, I was getting there. Damn it.
I know.
That was
I know.
the big punchline.
I'm stopping you because you fucking don't stop using that song as a quote, and I'm not having it.
And it actually worked. That was the big punchline I was building up for with the last 30 minutes of what we were doing.
Yeah.
But that's the POS show, folks. Vince, tell them where you can see it.
Oh man, well, thank you
I
guys
do
for
that all
having
the
me.
time. I always train wreck. I'm just.
Oh wow, I like how this whole thing pivoted to a therapy session for the last 30-45 minutes.
Oh,
So,
that was just all a long bit for that one joke that we never.
Oh yeah.
got
Oh
to.
no, it was all okay. This is all a bit, folks. None of this happened. This is all
Yeah.
fiction.
Right.
For entertainment purposes only, like Miss Cleo. Basically, you can find me anywhere on the internet at OSnapVince. That's at OHSNAPVINCE. Instagram, I post a lot of stuff, mostly stories and reels. I'm on YouTube, same thing at OSnapVince. I uploaded a stand-up set 2 weeks ago, and then a story over the weekend that I have a run-in I had with ECW's Sabu and an independent show. So find me there. Send me messages. I need bookings. I have a mortgage I need to pay, and I'd like to be a full-time comedian and YouTuber rather than sell life insurance. But then if you need life insurance, let me know too. But subscribe to my channel and all that shit, and that's about it, man. Thank you for having me.
Bobby, go ahead.
Check out. It's available now, hopefully on Compound. Bobby's World episode 2. We had Mike O'Donnell and Manny as always. We had Pat George, who's been a guest on here, and Stevie Lou, who's been a regular guest on here as well. So it's a fun episode. A lot of sketches, more stuff in the works there. Check out the Davey Max Sports Program if you enjoyed this. There's a slightly different take on that one. And head over to our Patreon. We're thankful that we get to do this, but we'd be more thankful if we could get more money to do it. So please subscribe.
I get you, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Bobby just poured out his soul and then pretend like he wasn't for a bit for our fucking mediocre amount of patrons. Get over there, make it feel like Bobby's relationship was worth it.
That said, if you are on the Patreon, thanks for being there. A lot of good guys. One guy I can't thank enough, Jonathan Keller, Hawkeye Keller. He's always doing things behind the scenes. He'll buy a ticket to a show in advance when we're complaining about not having money.
And he lives nowhere near the area. He just buys the ticket.
He's just a
to
good
do it.
dude.
wow.
And he's like, here's $20 for you. Yeah. So
Holy
shout out
shit.
Keller. Thanks for all you do.
Keller donated to the Get Pat Better Wi-Fi.
What a saint.
Yeah, he went on there and he was trying to make sure Carl would mention it and bring it up. But
I think my favorite story was we did a story on here about you ripping your shoes at work and he just sent you money. It was like, for the love of God, get new shoes.
yeah, when I was at work and the shoes ripped, and I thought it was funny that ripped shoes. Like, motherfucker, get shoes, goddamn it! I can't be a fan of you and you got holes in your shoes.
What a guy.
But okay, so this weekend, because this will be up before that, Saturday, there are a few tickets left, but not a lot for the show, Retro and Derby. It's going to be great. Come check that one out. It's in Derby, Connecticut. Go there, you can just go on my Facebook and you'll see the link to that if you want to get tickets in advance before it sells out. The show I'm doing for the Fallen Cops in Bristol is sold out completely already. So people have been hitting me up. They've packed the capacity. It's going to be awesome. So thank you for everyone that reached out and did that, because it's all the money's going to the families of the 2 fallen officers. That's going to be a cool fucking show. And it's really great that everyone's doing that. New Year's
Is
Eve.
it true they
Good.
fell trying to apprehend somebody shitting on a grave?
No. I keep saying fallen because I don't think it's right to say dead cops. So I just say fallen. So I don't know how to say that. They've fallen and because it's not fallen, they fell. It's over. They're not getting back up. They've fallen down and they got up again, and no one's gonna keep them down. Thank you, Bobby.
That show's gonna get canceled too.
Yeah, it's fine. I think the check's already in the mail. And we're good with that. New Year's
I
Eve.
forgot. You should have made those jokes before the show.
I didn't make any jokes. You did.
That's true. We'll take the heat.
I was just working on my opener. Are they falling? Hey, they can't get up. Well, they got life alert. Hey,
Oh, there it is.
New Year's Eve, I will be in Florence, Massachusetts. I don't know where, but I know the show's still on because Timothy Lovett hit me up today saying, "You still good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still good, man." So I'm not sure who else is on it. He goes, "You know Dave Hintz?" I go, "Yeah, I know Dave. Dave's my opener." He goes, "Can you get him?" Like, no, Dave's busy. He goes, "Get someone else to bring you." So if anyone out there wants to do a show on New Year's Eve, Florence,
I might do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you
should have run it past your co-host first.
You'd have to drive me. I don't drive.
You could hit up your old co-host.
I'm in Ansonia, Connecticut. Bobby, you're gonna drive all the way through?
Let's talk about it after the episode.
All right.
If I'm not booked, I'm seriously down. I'd have so much fun.
Yeah, you can just crash my place. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. I can bring whatever. We can have fun with it. But I've got a bunch of shows lined up. A lot of great comedy shows coming up. So please just want to support those things. Check them out. And of course, it's sooner than we think. The album recording at City Steam, February 17th and 18th. Darren Rivera is hosting. Bobby will be opening for me, and I will be headlining. Bobby, I knew I needed like one more story to make this thing awesome. So I was going back through my memories of things. So yesterday I went to an open mic. I had two separate stories that I've always liked but never did on stage. And for some reason it clicked. I'm like, these stories go together. They make sense together. And yesterday I did a 10-minute thing at a tiny open mic. And dude, people were like losing their shit at the open mic. People were like, why the fuck are you not talking about this? And it's just going to fit perfect. So now I'm going to work on that. But every set I've been doing on weekends, like I said on the last podcast, I have a joke that's working so well about maxi pads that women enjoy, threw tampons at me at a show like they were flowers. They were so excited about the bit. Make sure you get your tickets to come out there. I know they've already sold
and
tickets.
Your tampons.
Crazy. Yeah, bring your tampon, whatever you got to do. I'll sign them for you. Go to comedycraftbeer.com and you just search the date on there and you'll find the tickets. At City Steam. It's going to be awesome. It's a great venue. It's going to be great. So make sure you pack that.
It's a great room.
It is fun. I'm psyched I'm going to be able to record there. So, Vince, thank you so much, man. Hey, man. Really appreciate you being on. You were awesome. Good job at WATP. That's great that you got to be on there. Now you can do it instead of me because my Wi-Fi sucks. Good.
Anytime. I'll listen. I'm trying to be a podcast whore right now, Bobby. If you need me for Davey Mack or your show, my goal is to get a show on Compound one of these days. So I'll be on anytime.
We can get you to be a guest on whatever. They ain't hiring any shows. Just believe me.
I know they aren't hiring because he's going down to South Carolina and fucking off.
But I've had a pilot in the works for 3 years. Anyway, that's how this show started. Because of that. But anyway, Bobby.
If you can't join them, beat them, and don't be like me. Don't put your pride on the line. Don't you choke on the rind. Don't you take your tender heart and put it in the blender. Watch it spin around into oblivion. No, I have two different color eyes.
Okay.
And on that note, that's the POS.
Rendezvous, I'm in love with you.
I am still in love with you. Call
Recording stopped.